wish I had recorded that. I wish I had recorded what Kendisha just said. But anyway, Kendisha, I asked, what are you expecting? And Kendisha started and she said, no one has ever taught me this. And I was, oh, what day? Hello, my sis. I did not know that. Adeola, hello. I
Hi,
did.
how are you? How are you,
I'm
Kemi?
good. I'm good. I did not know, and just like Kendisha said, because Kendisha is young, she's not 23 yet. Um, I thought I also was not taught. You know how we just dabble. So we dabble into it. So I'm so glad she joined this, and the fact that she saw how to recognize your husband. Amazing. So let me ask Rebecca, what oops, has she gone? Oh, there she is. So what are you expecting? On mute.
Great. Hi.
What are you expecting from the webinar?
Interesting. I thought from the title, I felt very compelled that now I have to be a part of this conversation. And I think I'm just expecting, I think what my expectation will be more of like, I think the first thing is actually just to be hello?
Go ahead. I've muted the person. Go ahead.
Okay. I think it's first to be a part of the conversation, to be honest. I feel like because I feel like it is not like I found that a challenging. I feel like I found it challenging myself to really know, like, do I follow this person? Because sometimes you can be dating somebody and you think the person, what the person's presenting to you, you think, yes, it's gonna work out. It's definitely gonna lead to what you want, which is, marriage. Then you realize, despite the fact that the person was showing you signs that seemed positive, the intention behind it was not it. So I kind of want to unlearn to learn again, to understand what exactly, how do you really recognize and how do you kind of discern, intentions, behind acts of people, because sometimes people can be doing what is right, in your eyes, but the intentions might not align with what is presented. So yeah.
Okay, nice. I like Dr. Julia. Thank you, Rebecca.
No
So,
problem.
Julia, what are you expecting?
Hi, Feyikemi.
Hey.
Always a joy to join the sessions. And when I saw the poster, I was really excited about it. Although I have been through the journey, married, divorced, remarried, and by God's grace, I'll say I'm in a beautiful marriage, and I thank God for that. But the journey into getting into a new marriage was not an easy one, making that choice. And I thank God that he led me and I'm here now. But I still feel I need more. I need to learn more, as I also minister to women who have been through divorce and also going down that same lane. There's more that I would also need to learn for myself, and also be able to teach others. Yeah.
That's key. Thank you for that, Dr. Julia. Olamide. My sis. What are you? Olamide too is happily married, by the way. So tell us, what are you expecting? Olamide, are you there? All right. Maybe. Okay, there she is.
Me?
Yes, you. What are you expecting from the webinar?
There's not too much. I mean, like the previous speaker just said, it's never too much to learn about love. And, in marriage, there's things you can do to make it feel brand new every day. And, I'm a number one fan of Feyikemi. She knows that. So she always brings out these amazing nuggets about marriage. And, what I like about Feyikemi as well, in everything she speaks about, there's always valuable life lessons to learn. And that's what I'm expectant for tonight.
I chose the right person then. We've been talking about this, I think, since last year. And when I wrote that little poem and people were responding to it on Facebook, I thought, this is the time. Yes, this is the time. Let's do it. Let's do it. Absolutely. So when Feyikemi came and typed, I said, come on, Kemi, let's get this done. Let's get this done. Let's get this done. I am Feyikemi. I'm admitting you too. All right, Vivian, I expect. What are you expecting from this webinar? Please, can you share with us?
Oh, hi.
Hello.
I'm mostly just looking forward to listening to your insights and learning from the session. Thank you.
Okay, you have such a beautiful voice. So you have people from different countries. Thank you, Olamide. Thank you, Vivian. And Ayofeoluwa, how about you? What are you expecting?
I'm expecting that will get better from the weather and
Are
that
you married?
my mind is intact. No, ma'am, single.
Okay. And your mind is intact. Is that what you said?
No, I said I'm hoping that my mind just transformed to a
Okay.
different view too. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So, like I said, I'll speak a little, introduce Feyikemi, and then we'll do some Q&A, and then we'll invite you to get on our How to Recognize Your Husband workshop, a 6-week workshop. We'll send you the link. You look at it, we'll talk about it and all that. All right. So first thing I want to say right here is that I've just learned that I did not know how to love. Love is hard. You know that. Love is not a walk in the park. Love means you've got to die to yourself, your will, your feelings, your this, your that, and not live based on you and what you want with the other person. The people I have found who do that very well are the white people, where I lived among them in the UK for over 3 decades. They are amazing. I don't want the guy I get married to, because I'm divorced. I don't want the guy that I get married to be smoking. But they just agree. You want to smoke? That's okay. But please do it outside the house. You want to go and spend time with the boys in the bar, whatever it is their beliefs are. They don't come home and say, why did you go? Why did you smoke? You shouldn't be doing that. And I realized that that's what I have done my entire life. I have done that my entire life. So if you do something to me that I don't like, I want you to think about this. I share this in one of my groups. If you do something, if someone does something to you don't like, invariably you are going to respond to that person based on your like or dislike of it. Not so you're going to blame the person, tell the person off based on you, not on them, not on you just being and letting it be. Just, oh, I don't like it, but you don't have to get into, a slanging match. I don't like it. You didn't do this. You should have done this. No, you don't need that. If you don't like it, that's you. That does not mean that what he did was bad. He likes it. That's how he has lived his entire life. I'm not talking about if he slaps you, if he beats you, if he abuses you. No, you don't take that. But if he does things like, maybe he has a habit of tossing his shirt somewhere, leaving water running, not closing the toilet, those little finicky things, and messing up the entire kitchen. That's how he has been. It's not good, but you cannot decide that your relationship with him is based on you. Because you see, those of you who know God, Jesus did not die based on what he liked and what he didn't like. Oh, no, you did this. He died anyway. How you respond to it till now, he's not coming to you. See, Kemi, I died for you. Aren't you going to respond to it? You should respond to it well. You know all the things I've done for you. You should do well. We know what is right. Everybody knows what is right. As long as you are human, you have a conscience. You know what I just said to Feyikemi is wrong. But if that person chooses, if I choose not to go back, acknowledge it, no, let's do it the other way. If Feyikemi does something wrong to me and she doesn't come to me, acknowledge, I noticed that I shouldn't have done that. That's the way the world is. We shouldn't be selfish and just me. It's about how I want it. Nobody will marry anybody if it is about me. When you meet somebody, you kind of put some things down. And you say, okay, I won't do this again. Okay, he likes this. Okay, I like that. We need to compromise somewhere. If he doesn't stop it, you met him when he was 40. You met him when he was 25 or whatever. He's been doing whatever he's been doing for 2 decades at the very minimum. And then you enter his life. You can't do this again. I don't like you when you... No, relax. Let's calm down. When we are at peace, we are at ease. It's easier. And when you are chilled out, it's easier to let the other person know in the gentlest voice ever. You won't have to scream and shout and go and be crying. You just be chilled out. Honey, I really don't like that. But even the way you say it, when you acknowledge the fact that this is about you, not about the other, because love is about the other person. It's not about you. It's when you love somebody, you are giving something away. You are giving it out. And many people say, yes, I agree with that, Dr. Julia. When you're at peace, you're at ease. And many people say you cannot give what you don't have. But what do you have? Because you're already giving it. And I noticed for years I was giving my anger, my nastiness, my... I was giving something. And that's so unfair to the people I give it to. I've always been like that. I'm Nigerian. I'm female. All women, stop it. It's not about you. It's not about you. So let's watch what we give. You can't give what you don't have. Leave what you don't have. You can't do anything about that, except you go get it. But we are giving something already. So think about that. This is about you. Because I said it's how you recognize your husband. I didn't say how you recognize your husband/wife. Although there's a man who has, he's a young man who registered and he's not here yet. But I'm not talking about recognizing your wife. I already have a men's group I work with, but hello, women, you can actually recognize your wife. So let me speak for about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to hand it over to Feyikemi. The first title I put on the flyer is How to Recognize Your Husband. Something you need to get used to and you must consistently do is to use the dictionary. Use the etymology dictionary. If you're a Bible reader, use the Hebrew Strong's dictionary, Greek dictionary. You need to understand the meanings of words, where words come from, the etymology meaning. Was it originally Latin, French, Old English, Old French, Hebrew, Greek? And that's where the true meaning comes from. Not something that everybody's banding about, or it's just the dictionary. You go into everything. So I want to talk about that word recognize. In the etymology dictionary, it means to resume possession of land. To resume. That means you had it before, so you are resuming it. I'm not saying there's only one kind of guy you can marry, but you need to recognize the one that fits you, like hand in glove, fits you. It also means to know again. It means to identify. You've got to, that was what Kendisha was saying. How do I identify? How do I identify that this mug is mine? Because it has this pink top. It has something written on the side. Effer hat. I can't really read it. It has this pink thing at the bottom. I haven't taken off the sticker. I've used it quite a bit, so it's scratched inside. That I can identify my daughter. I can identify my son. I can identify my grandchildren. There are marks. There's a way he walks, the way he smiles. Oh, that's that person's smile. I see things. So you also can see things in a man. But I've noticed something I did. You see a part you don't like. Oh, it doesn't matter. He will change. Sorry, it's not changing for you. Nobody's changing for you. Nobody. Nobody changes for you. It doesn't work like that. So understand that. And when you identify what is yours, you don't fight for it, go after it, except of course it's stolen. Even then, we don't need to go to war about it. There is a way, which is the next line, how you attract men like you. What I mean, let me tell you the meaning of attract. To draw an object or a person to yourself. To draw them. When you say, oh, we are attracted, oh, that girl is attracted to that boy, you don't see a string holding them. They just know, or a guy says, I'm attracted to that woman. You don't see anything physically like, oh, this is what connects them. There's just an energy that comes out of them that, oh, I like this. Oh, and sometimes we may be very wrong. So how do you attract men like you? You can only attract men like you. You can't attract different men. So it's really painful for me to realize that the men around me are the ones I have attracted by virtue of who I am. The next one says, what is you quality? What you quality is to attract the same quality of man. So what's the quality of you? What about you? So let me tell you the meaning of quality. Well, it comes from the French in the 1300s. It says temperament, character, disposition. Old French, characteristic. So you need to sit down quietly and analyze and digest who you are. No, yes, ma'am. Know who you are. How are you disposed to this? If somebody shouts, do you get up and say, why are you shouting at me? Don't be shouting at me. And that's how you are disposed. Or if somebody, spoils the air, there is a fart. Oh my God! Oh my God! It's not even ladylike. And I know, because I've been a tomboy forever. I'm just now learning at my age how to be calm, chill, and still with the energy I have. Some of us are born like this. It's not like I went to school to learn to use a big voice and to be, but there is a way to be you. So the quality of you is what a man will see. You say, And let me tell you one thing. Vivian, you only attract people like you. You don't think so? Oh, go ahead. Explain to me what you mean by unmute, Vivian, and tell us what you mean by you don't think so.
Well, the idea is to learn, right? But I really don't agree with the fact that you only attract people like you, because I think there's anyway magnets out there, and while you can be all that you think you are, if your light is shining and you're presentable, you're going to attract both sides. Now, if you say you only choose people like you, that I understand, but say you only attract people like you, I think that's a bit, I don't agree with that, because I think you attract both different kinds of people. It's then up to you to choose which one of these people you let into your life.
So what do you mean different, both, or what do you mean by different kinds of people?
When I mean both, I meant more like everybody. If you're an attractive person, or if you have attractive qualities, and I don't mean that just physically, I mean that overall, personality wise. People like good things. People are attracted to things that attract them, and it's not only good doesn't only attract good. Good attracts every other thing around it, and then maybe it's then up to the individual to choose. I don't
You
know,
are right.
but you can enlighten me too.
No. You are right there. But I'm talking about who you are. Who you are is a function of how you think. So as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. You are not somebody else. You are who you are. So different kinds of guys will come around you, but you are the one attracting them. So you might see yourself as I speak well, I stand well, I look well, I dress well, I talk well, I this, I'm clean, I'm not tidy, I'm not rude, I'm not this. Those are various aspects of your character. One man can be attracted to just one aspect. There are young men that have told me, I have to marry a woman with big breasts. Some say, I don't mind about the breast, doesn't matter the size, it has to have a big bum. That's what they are attracted to. So you might have a big bum, and that's all they are looking at. Is when they get closer to you that they will know the rest of you. But who you are intrinsically, you are the one who needs to evaluate. Are you the kind of woman a man will come to and say, everybody, I found her, she's the one, she's the only one? Yeah. Are you that whole person? I'm not saying you're going to be a perfect woman, but I am saying that exactly like you said, like a magnet, as you think, so you are. So your character is a function of how you think. There's nothing you can do about that except you change how you think. So you are actually responsible. I'm also responsible for who comes around me. People tend to say what you have said to me, like, no, it's not, how can I have created my environment? Who did? I did. My bedroom, the house I live in, it doesn't even matter whose own it is, because this is not my house, it's my brother's. The food I eat is all coming out of me. I'm not a zombie. I'm not a puppet. I'm not a victim that you can control. Everything around me, I control it. No devil and not even God will do it for me. I am the one who does that myself. But I'm sure Feyikemi will go further. And the last bit is self-esteem. Do you know what self-esteem means? Yeah. Do you know what self-esteem means? It means well-being. It's not cute to say, oh, I have low self-esteem. It's not cute. Oh, my father took my teddy bear when I was 5, and my auntie, they used to beat me every day. You need to snap out of it. You're a big girl now. You're a very big girl now. Go get the help you need. Snap out of it. Because if you keep thinking the same ways, because my daddy did this, because my mommy did it, you are strengthening the neural connections that are in your brain, and you will keep responding the same way to it. And people use the word triggered. I can never be triggered. I'm not a zombie. Something happened. Hey, I can never be triggered. I am not a puppet. Somebody says something. Oh, please, I'm triggered. What? I'm not triggered. I will take control of it. I have taken control of it. I am not going to be controlled. I'm the human being here. The issue that happened is not going to control me. Now, I understand some people find it difficult, it's hard, and go and get help. What happened to you that hurt you does not mean you live there, because that's not what God wants for you. Even you don't want it for you. So you've got to go get help, or look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not a puppet. I'm not on a string. Come here, go there, cry now, don't cry. No, I'm not a victim. You look yourself in the mirror. And I'm not a zombie. I have thoughts about matters, and I want to do what I want to do with regards to that. And if somebody stops me, I don't have to fight you. I just need to retreat into my quietness. I believe thinking is a spiritual matter, because you can think ugly, you can think evil, and you can think righteous. And that will determine your behavior, your feelings, your perceptions, your actions. Starts with a thought. Everything starts, it creates the state of your mind. So I know what I teach is, how do you say, controversial, but I don't mind. Everybody goes away with their beliefs. I am not responsible for your beliefs. So what I do freely. I'm only responsible for mine and for sharing the truth. The truths, they are not my truths. The truths I share are universal laws. You can't do anything about it. And I am not responsible for how it works out for you. I'm only responsible for sharing the truth with you, and showing you where to go and get that truth, and then helping you to be the best you can be. But it's also quite painful, I know, because I've been there, I've done that, I knew it was painful. So I've done 11 minutes. Let me introduce Feyikemi. Feyikemi is a life transformation teacher, writer, and certified behavioral analyst. Did you hear that? Certified. She has got certificate. Okay. A strong advocate of God's love, inner peace, and contentment. Feyikemi believes in embracing life's seasons, whether joyful, challenging, or extremely difficult. She encourages her readers to embrace each season, see God in it, and learn from it. That's critical. See God in it. Feyikemi's expertise lies in empowering individuals from diverse backgrounds, focusing on couples, teenagers, youths, and individuals navigating new beginnings. She is a member of the John Maxwell leadership team, specializing in assisting individuals in fulfilling their divine callings. Residing in Switzerland with her family, Feyikemi brings a wealth of experience and insight to her work, dedicated to serving others. Please, while I mute, welcome Feyikemi Oyewole.
Thank you, Coach Kemi. God bless you. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Good evening. From wherever you're here in the world, like maybe it's good morning, it's good evening, it's good afternoon, it may be. And when I entered here tonight and I saw the way Coach Kemi was interacting with anyone and how everybody was free, I'm like, okay, this is a safe place, right? So it's so good to be with you tonight. How to recognize your husband. Before I go into it, I'm going to share my screen, but I want to address Vivian's question, right? And before I start, let me just share with you that I have a source, and my source is God. So whenever I teach, I teach principles from the Word of God. So, and I want to believe that whatever source that you have, whatever I teach, whatever principles I teach, you'll be able to like sit them, right, in your source. I can guarantee you that. Even the Muslims, there are many things that we will say in Christianity, and they have their own saying, very similar. So that's what I mean, that whoever your source is, I want to believe that our source is God, but whoever your source is, these principles, just sit them into your life. If they sit, run with them. If they do not sit, it's time for you to say, okay, this is not working. So Vivian, I'm going to address your question, maybe it's a comment, and I agree with you. You only attract people like you. I don't think so. And I agree with your premise that says that, you know what, it's normal for people to just see you, especially if they know your background, they know that you're a good person, you come from a good home. So they just want to associate themselves with you naturally. And I will just give you a story, a little story. And then from the story, you'll be able to pick out some things that you can sit into your own life or your situation. So while I was in the university, I was dating this young man. You know, I lived in a small town, Ile-Ife, in Nigeria. I went to Feyikemi Oyewole University in Nigeria. The same guy was in the same school. My dad was the director of admin at the Feyikemi Oyewole University Teaching Hospital Complex then, you know, and I hear people saying a lot, like even people still say it now. I hear people saying a lot that because my parents has 4 girls and 1 boy. And people will say, the people will tell their children, you must marry one of the Abiodun girls, right? You must marry one of the Abiodun girls. So that's how good my family is. I won't say what, you get what I mean? So people say good things about us. My parents are very gentle people, God-fearing, they just do their own thing. My mother, I think she's one of the only women that I know in this world that does not have any society, you know, women. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just trying to let you understand how like put together they are, you know, you get what I mean, with themselves, with each other and their family and their 5 children, right? So I started dating this guy, everybody knows, and I started getting to know him. And I could see that he was not only attracted to me, but his entire family, they were. And his friends were so jealous, always saying it to my face, oh, I was very late, though I wanted to, but this guy was very fast. You know, we all lived together, right? And I will hear things like this. And I will see the mom treats me differently in a very good way. And I will see the way she treats the house help. I will see the way she treats other people that are maybe lesser than them or myself, right? But for me, she treated me differently. Do you understand what I mean? And I will see people from my own family going to their house and bunking there. There was a day I arrived there and I saw my second cousin, because my dad was the last born of his family. So he had older ones. So I had a lot of grown-up cousins. So then I just saw my second cousin study medicine. I just met him there. I was like, Shegun, what are you doing here? Like, what? You know, and the way they will receive my family, my siblings, even my very, very close friends, we bunk there. That is how much they love me, right? Why? Because they are attracted to something. They are attracted to my parents, my background, the name I carry, the kind of person that I am, right? And I was attracted to them initially until I began to see their attributes. I began to see the character. And I'm like, no, I do not fit in here. So they may be attracted to my good deeds, like Vivian said, like both good and good. I don't want to call people good or bad, but both the people that are right for you and the ones that are not right for you may be attracted to you by just looking at you on the surface, or by hearing your name, or by knowing that you come from this background or that background, or by the virtue of what they think that your parents have. You get what I mean? But then you have to now recognize or identify, is this person for me? And that is the difference. So truly you may be attracted to anybody. And that is why you need to design that they are treating me that way, very nice to me, or my family, does not mean that, you know, we share the same values, right? So I just wanted to share that first. And then from there, we can talk more on that, you know, as we continue in the conversation. So I'm going to share my screen now. But before I start, does anybody have a question on that? Does anyone have a question on that? So can you see my screen? Very well, right?
Okay, yes, it's fine
Good.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not going to take the questions and read them and then answer, but you're going to fit in the answer, you get what I mean, just into the questions, you know, by yourself. Let's do this together. And I hope you have your pen and your paper ready because you're going to do something in a few minutes. So how to recognize your husband, right? So there are so many questions to ask. You are talking about what do you want to recognize? Do I want one? So I want to believe the reason why you are here is because you want one. You want to be married. You want a husband and you want a good one. So I'm sharing this based on the premise that you all have good values and you understand good values and you want to have somebody of that is like-minded, right? So what do I understand about having one? Do I want one? What do I understand about having one? What is even my motive for wanting to get married? Because I tell you in life, when your motive is wrong, the whole journey can be wrong. Because your decisions will be based on the motive that you have. What you'll be seeing in that person will be based, your motive will drive the things that your eyes will be open to. There may be many things, but you won't see them because you have a particular motive. So what do I understand about having one? How informed am I? When I was growing up, oh my God, I was so young and I don't know why. I think God has destined me from the foundation of the world. I will open up the world. I will open my ears. I will open my eyes. I will see things and I'll begin to identify things that I think, I don't want this. Right from when I was a very young, and I remember when I was in junior secondary school 3, we finished our exams and I went to my auntie's place for holiday. And then one day, the husband just left and went out, and my auntie came out and said, "Oh, where is daddy? Something." I said, "Oh, he just left. He didn't tell you?" She said, "No." And in those days, there were no phones. There were all these mobile phones. There were nothing then, right? And I was as young as I was in JC. I was saying, "Eh?" So he left home without telling the wife where he was going. And I was thinking, I said, "No, me, I don't want this kind of person." Because I was determined then that I was going to get married. So I was watching out, paying attention. I didn't know why until now, why I was paying attention to those things, talking about those things, telling myself that, I don't like that. Why would a GSS3 girl, why would I even notice that my uncle went out, and why would I even think that it was bad? I was like 13 years then. Why would I even notice that it was bad, right? So how informed am I? What books am I reading? Before I got married, I read many books, Romancing Your Husband's Name It. I was reading just to familiarize myself with the know-how of marriage, of having a husband, of serving a husband, of being submissive, and of loving one, right? So once I have this understanding, a decision should be made. Choosing one with whom I will have a healthy or unhealthy relationship. Do I want iron sharpens iron or not? Because I tell you, many people, they go into unhealthy relationship, they walk into it with their two eyes opened. I've seen it many times. Somebody will be beating them, and they will still be talking about it. They'll be like, "Oh, Feyi, I'm telling you, it happens. Oh, it happens. People don't just say it. People hide it. Even when they see that you are happy, people that have this kind of mentality even believe that you are talking about marriage and that you are honest. They believe that you are lying. They believe that your husband just beats you. It is that bad, right? And where does this thinking come from? We'll get to it in a minute. How to recognize. We're still talking about how to recognize. Let us talk about, we are not talking about recognizing on the surface. What is the definition of surface? Surface is the outside of an object or a body. Therefore, you cannot come to the knowledge of anyone from the surface. You cannot look at someone and say, this is it. From the surface, no. Nobody. Even this God, our God that we are saying that is our source, we didn't get to know him on the surface. No. We have known him, we have experienced him, and we are experiencing him. Right? 30 minutes. Okay, thank you, Coach K. How many minutes have I spent? Okay, let me be fast. So look at these oranges. You can see this one, the inside is bad. But if you look at the outside, it's not that bad, right? So you can see an individual, when you see them on the surface, you may see the outside, it may be good. But then when you see someone or when you meet someone, you are getting to know them a little bit, you may not necessarily go know the inside. What is living on the inside of them? You wouldn't know, right? And then look at this second one. There's some people you will know immediately you see them. They are full of You're like, what mannerless, disrespectful, everything not put together. So you know, right? And then you see this third picture, you can see the outside. It's good, the surface. That's what we call the surface, outside, right? See the outside, but see the inside, purple, not good, right? And then you will see some people, the outside is very good, and the inside, very good, right? And there will be some, the outside is very good, the inside not so good, but they have a quality that can change their lives. When they meet someone that can really, really support them, help them, it may not even be a wife. It may not be a wife. It may even be a friend. It may be a colleague that will just impact their lives and change their lives forever. Do you understand? Why? Because they have something in the inside of them that is called teachability. They carry it in the inside of them naturally. They are open to be teachable. Not only to one aspect of life, but they are generally open. They want to learn. They want to, okay, when you tell them that, oh, really? That, I'm sorry, I didn't know I did that. What should I do better? You see them researching and trying to be a better person. I'm like that. So I know that I'm not the only one. There are many people like that, right? How to recognize your husband. Please bear in mind, there is no good person, there is no bad person. We only have people that are right for us. Don't let us label anybody bad, right? Because what is bad for you may be good for somebody else. But we are talking about the right person that matches you. And Coach Kemi called it the glove in the hand or hand in the glove. What did you call it? I love that expression, a glove in the hand or something, right? So what would you recognize? We are talking about how to recognize. Number one, you cannot recognize on the surface. That something is beautiful on the outside does not mean that it's beautiful on the inside. So then you will now begin to tell yourself, what would you recognize? What are the things that you want to watch out for that will make you say, this is my boss stop? Because you have many people proposing to you. I had many people who proposed to me. When I was in the university, there was this guy working at Chevron in Lagos. Everybody thought I was going to marry him. So you have many people asking for your hand in marriage, talking to you about marriage, whispering it into your ears. But how would you recognize that one that is for you? Number one, mindsets. Coach Kemi mentioned it already. The way they think and view the world. What drives this mindset? Maybe upbringing, spirituality. Because we have to have conversation with them. And from what they are saying, you begin to know the kind of person that they are. What is living on the inside of them. You will know because they begin to talk. You know, I think Vivian and I were having this conversation earlier today when we met, right? So you will know. It may even be just one thing that they will say. Then you will get to know that. Have you ever had friends, people that you just met, they want to become friends with you? You'll be like, I don't like how this person thinks. Like, I can't do. I've been like that, you know. So how much more someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with? It's something to be taken seriously. Are you a lover of God, Ade? So, we are talking about how to recognize. Are you a lover of God? Are they? Then one thing about mindset, the mindset transforms to values. Because it is what it is in the inside of you that you will express. It is what you carry in the inside of you that you will manifest. There is no way you can have beans in you and you will manifest maize. It is not possible. Unless you are not observant. So these are the things that you want to start watching and looking out for. And I'm going to ask you a question, son. The mindset, because the reason why it's so important, the mindset, is because it transforms to values. That is what they will value. That is how their life is. Right? If they have a mindset that a wife should come to one's house and slave, that means that we have that kind of value that shows that, no, when you are a wife, you have to be like this, you have to be like this. But people like that, no discussion, nothing. And the person that I said was working at Chevron, he told me, he said, nobody can tell me how to manage my money, because we all know Chevron. As at that time, they were very rich, a lot of money. And then he told me that he gave 1 million naira to, I was in the university and I was talking about 2002, 2003. So he said, oh, I gave 1 million to the church. He was going to Christ Embassy. Then I said, just be careful. I hope you are saving money. I hope you are investing. Then he said, no, we won't do that. So you can never teach me or tell me how to spend my money. My dear sisters, I did not even look back. Can you see? I'm teaching you principles. You sit it in the situation. Does it fit? That's what I'm saying. Does it fit? So that does not fit. That's not me. Because the way I see my future, I've envisioned that future, a happy family. I have my own motive. My own motive is love, companionship, children, That's my own motive, right? So, and I was not saying it in this guy, even though he was already talking about marriage, about coming to meet my people. My dear sisters, I'm not saying you should do the same. I just stopped picking his calls. I don't have time. The values, they do not sit with me. So because the mindset transforms to values, and then we talk about conduct, now begin to look for conduct in them. How do they conduct themselves? Because values informs how we behave. Values informs how we behave. You want to recognize a husband, starts like this. What would you recognize? So once you know the mindset, the values, the conduct, then we are talking about potential. What you perceive that the future or the present holds. Because through that mindset, through the values, through the conduct, you'll be able to see that, hey, the future holds so plenty. And I think I've shared the story of my husband and I, Vivian knows, Coach Kemi Olamide knows. And I recently shared in our group with our dear friend Aji about how when I'd finished my master's and I met my husband who was a dropout from the university from Canada, was just going back to university to do at his first degree. And that was one of the things he told me when we met. He said, I want to tell you 3 things. So I'm old, but I'm not too old to marry. I went to school in Canada. I dropped out due to so and so reasons. Now I want to go back to school for 3 years uninterrupted, and I don't want to work. Number 3, I have a child. This is how it came to be. Right? So it's me to now say, okay, in fact, that was what killed it for me. That was what sealed it for me. The honesty. The honesty. Right? Like, some men will be so afraid to tell the woman that they don't want to work for 3 years. But he said, I don't want to work because that was what happened in Canada. I couldn't study. I was just working. I wanted to survive. I had to drop out. I suffered. I've worked all my life. Now I want to go back and I don't want to work. Are you okay with it? I said, I'm okay. Because I know I have seen gold. Do you understand? And this person that said does not want to work for 3 years. Went back to doing cabi, taxi. Like about 6 months after starting school, one day he just came and he said, because he was living in London now, and I was in Bristol with my parents then, you know. And then he came and he said, you know what? I'm going to start this taxi thing. I'll be doing it in the night so that at least I can support us. So that at least it won't be me. That day I cried. I told my mom, I said, hey, my brother-in-law is a dentist. My older brother is a medical doctor. Anu is saying an engineer. My own husband will now be a cabi. Ah, my mom laughed. My mom said, this girl, this is a good man. A man that does not want you to carry it alone, do it alone. This is a good man. So remove that, forget, wipe your tears. There's nothing won't go, it's a journey. Potential. And I knew when I met him that he would do anything for his family. Because I saw the way he was even treating his own mother, his siblings, everybody around him. He wanted everybody to be very fine. He used to laugh. He laughs a lot, not he used to. He laughs a lot, any little thing. So the other day, he was laughing. We went outside and the lady was laughing. Where'd you mother? I was just like this. Kilo fairy. You get it? Because he has been like that, you know, just love people, love humanity. And that is me. I can have 20 people in my house and I will cater for them. I will, you know, we'll marry, we will. And so what would you recognize? Then emotional maturity, ability to comprehend, manage, and express emotions in a way that fosters personal growth and harmonious relationship, good self-esteem. You will meet some people, or they will badmouth people, even some men. They will badmouth people, they will badmouth their family, they say, that one, don't mind that. That one, don't mind that. And you are, is that the kind of value that you are, is that the person that you are looking for? So what I'm trying to say is that in order to recognize, this is where to start. And I'm going to look at what I have in the chat. Honesty, so for the woman who was talking, it was not about the money for her. Yes. Yes. Let's go to the next slide. My 30 minutes is almost up. Coach Kemi took most of my time, so I'm not even. So get your pen, rate yourself. So now we are going there. Because we are talking, you know, you want to recognize. So, and Coach Kemi had already talked about attraction. Because you attract, you cannot expect to have all these good things from someone without you being that person first. So I want you to rate yourself. So quickly look at it and and then we are going to work out the percentage. So when you rate yourself from 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high. So how do you think? Are you patient? Yeah? Do you have goodness? Do you express joy? Are you peaceful? Do you enjoy peace? Do you advocate for peace? Do you have self-control? Are you faithful? Faithful in little. And I'm not talking about to people that you love. Generally, who are you? Do you have care and empathy? Do you forgive? Are you teachable? That one is so important. Do you show appreciation, trust, ambitious? Are you lazy? Because you cannot be lazy and you now expect to marry someone that is hardworking. What about faith? What do you believe in? Are you loyal? Do you have integrity? Do you have courage? Do you express gratitude? Because when the time of challenges, when they come in that marriage that you are seeking so much, are you going to remain in gratitude to God? Are you going to say, I shouldn't have married you. It was when I married you that all these things happened, like Coach Kemi was saying the other time. Are you consistent in expressing all these all this goodness? Are you humble? Are you responsible? Are you a good listener under communication? Are you self-aware? Some people, you cannot even correct them. Are you matured? Are you selfless? Do you take responsibility? So who are you first to want this person? So now let us rate yourself. And when you are ready, so, we are saying that rate yourself 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. So that would be 10 times 27. So it will be 270. So add your score together quickly. I'm sorry, but you have to do it. Add your score together quickly. Let's say, for example, you give yourself 5, 5, 5, 5 in everything. Coach K.
I'm thinking that we should do this when we are in the Q&A so that you can get through your slides, because you have quite a few. Yeah.
Okay,
so they are not rushed. Yes.
Okay, all right. You can do that later then, like Coach Kemi said. We can come back to that. Coach Kemi said something about giving. I was just laughing. In marriage, because when you are talking about recognizing how to recognize your husband, recognizing that person and having that person and doing the ceremony to come together is the first step. The reason why you want to recognize the right person is because you want the journey to be successful, isn't it? And so in this journey, you give and you give. There's nothing like give and take in this journey. You give and you give. And that was what my husband told me. I remember the night he proposed to me. My husband said, I love you. I'm not one of those guys that is going to hide that I love you. As I'm giving, I want you to give me. I'm giving, I want you to give. He said, Feyi, there's nothing like give and take. You give, I give. You give, I give. We keep giving. And look at this picture. Tell me, can somebody tell me what they can see? Because you can say, what is this picture? 2 happy people. No. What are they giving here? See, the man is giving the. Can you see? Showing that affection and that woman receiving it. That's also giving, because what she's saying to him is that I love what you're doing to me. So it's not like, leave me, Joe. Leave me, Joe. Leave me. Don't touch me. What is your problem? And I'm not exaggerating. I will be at home and my husband will be touching me. I'll be like, I do it very well. Do it very well. You get what I mean? So you give and you give and you give and you give and you give. Are you ready to give? There will be times of adversity. So when you have all this, you understand all this, you'll be able to see. Then you ask yourself, who am I? What can I tolerate? What can I, because we are different. What can I tolerate? What is my threshold? What will be fine for me? What is it that will not be fine for me? But then you have to have this understanding of what happens in the journey, in the marital journey, to be able to recognize that person. So who are you? What do you understand? What values do you carry? Because if you have low self-esteem, somebody is beating you, and you think that it's fine. But if you have scored yourself, if you've rated yourself very well, the moment you see that thing, you will recognize that this is not. That's why I say, what would you recognize? Will you truly recognize your man? That was why I said, even though the family was very good, anybody in my family can enter that home without questioning them. And everybody would be running around. I remember one day they used his friends used plates to eat and everything, and they put it in the kitchen. And I was coming from outside, and everybody was running elter skelter. He's coming. Go and clean the kitchen. So, and you can say, oh my God, this guy. I remember the first time I said, we have to end it. The words that came out of his mouth was, please do not put me to shame. And this goes back to what Vivian said. It's not about truly loving me, because they don't really have that love. It's about what I represent. And they want to be seen, they want to see me side by side with them. That see, I am with one of the Abiodun's daughters in that small community. You get what I mean? So would you recognize that? And that's why I gave that as an example. What would you recognize? Even though I'm attracted, what is attracting me to them in the first place? So do I have to say, oh, it is genuine? Or do I have to think, But because I saw the way they were treating other people, that is not me. So I knew immediately, this is not my husband. Quickly. What do you have to give? When Coach Kemi said it the other time, I was just laughing. Like, we are both in the spirit. What do you have to give? Because we are talking, I want to recognize. What about you? What substance do you have? Do you carry beyond the surface, beyond the name that you answer to in that small community that everybody knows you? In that small community that you have 1,000, other people have 50 naira. So you are the champion. Beyond that, what substance do you carry that will make you to quickly identify, recognize that man, that I carry this substance. I'm not seeing this substance in this man. And the way I'm looking at this man, I don't think they can. I don't think they are teachable. I don't see their hearts open. I don't think they are ready for where I am going to. So some attributes to consider, and I won't dwell on this ones. Connection to a source, e.g. God. How to recognize your husband. What do you connect to? Do they connect to the same? I have someone who came to ask for the hand of a girl in my. The parents called him down. They called him and sat him down and said, this girl has a calling. So we want you to tell us in front of the whole family, will you allow her? He said, I have a calling too. We are going to do our calling together. My auntie told me that my cousin met a guy, they've been dating for many years, and the girl kept saying, and the guy kept saying that his wife will not work, his wife will not work, his wife will not work, that he wants a stay-at-home wife. And my cousin was already doing a master's by then. She wants to fly. She's already seeing herself in high places. And this guy is saying that his wife will not work, will stay at home and take care of the children. And my cousin broke the relationship, called it off. And my auntie called me to say, you have to talk to her. I said, you called the wrong person, because that is not her husband. So can you see? This is what she wants. We have the right to want. We have the right to desire. God created us for a purpose. And she is saying, my purpose is not to be a housewife and sit at home. I have wings, and these wings, they are going to fly. But this man kept saying, the person I will marry you. Then the person is telling you, so that means you are getting the vibes. You are knowing that is not yours. So recognize that and move forward. Love. Have a deep understanding of love. If we have time next time, let's talk about love. I think I'm one of the only ones that will say love is enough. And I know you won't want to believe me because I'm not your pastor. Because the one pastor said, love is not a love. And then you believe. Just like that. Without studying the Bible. When the Bible says, when all things fails, it will not fail. Should we make our own inadequacies, our not wanting to exercise love, the reason why love is not enough? Because we can't do the works. Does that make it redundant? Fast. Number 3, a good character. Respect and kindness is part of them. Maybe I was writing it and I stopped. A good character. How to recognize your husband. Like I said, these people, I could see that they don't have love. And that the kind of love they are showing to me at that moment is because of how they perceive me, how they perceive my family. And the recognition, I don't know what recognition, but to them, the recognition, they think that my name is bringing to them, even though I don't see it. So one of the reasons why I was able to recognize that this is not my is that character. The character was not there. Aha, see, that was a mistake. So respect and kindness, honesty, forgiveness, authenticity, positively vulnerable, care and empathy, love for other people. Like I said, my husband told me, before you make a decision, there are 3 things you have to know. And this was not when he wanted to propose. This was when we wanted to start going out. And we so much sync, because I remember the first day when we decided to start going out, the first thing we said, let's join our hands together and pray. Can I be joining hands together and pray with someone that does not have the same belief in that aspect with me? So this is how you recognize. Because when I said, let us pray, he said, yes, I agree. Let us commit this journey to the hands of God. And we heard each other and we prayed. Right? How to recognize your husband. That one alone, I knew. Shared life goals, common interest. When I tell my husband I want to do something, he will be the one pushing me. He even said that before he met me, he prayed. He went on fasting and prayer for a few days, telling God that I'm ready to settle down. God help me. I don't want to be alone anymore. And he was praying in our language, Yoruba, that Oluwa Fiomoto da Kemi, Fia yo Kemi no moi, meaning that, and my name is Oluwa Feyikemi. So when he met me, he was like, hey, this God has a sense of humor. Just like that. And even the name. But he was already walking.
So tell us the meaning of the name, because not everyone here is Yoruba.
Okay. Oluwa Feyikemi is, God has given me this as a gift. And do you know when God gives a gift, you know what it means? The one that gives and that never asks anything in return. Joy upon joy, everything, it just gives. Right? God has given me this as a gift. Father, give me a gift in a wife. And he was saying that prayer. So that man too, and the reason why you have to build up yourself is because that man too that you want, that you think is better, that wants to have a good life, that man too is praying, you know. He's praying that God, please have mercy on me. Don't let me miss it. Why? Because the man too is a good man. So you have to build yourself. And then God will be like, okay, Kingsley is calling me from there. He wants a good woman. So I would have given Kingsley Ngozi, but this girl is not trying at all. Let me look for Amaka in Onitsha, or Tony in I can see this girl she really wants it. She's committed to developing herself, to changing her life, to transforming herself. So let me match them. So remember that. So it's not about recognizing, I want a good man. Who are you? Common interest. Do you have the same common interest? You will talk about my husband. I used to laugh at him. He has one chair in the living room. When he sits there, it's okay. But me, I'm an outdoor person. So I would tell him, I said, you've made me an indoor person. You see, I don't like this kind of, we will both laugh, we will laugh, But while we are indoors, we'll find something, occasionally we'll go out as well. Right? Chemistry. I met with a lady today who told me that she's separated from the husband. And you know what? I wasn't surprised. And she said, I know that you know. Why? Because when I first heard that they were going out, I couldn't even see them. I was just looking at them, no chemistry, nothing. And I'm thinking, seriously? And how do I know these things? People will say, how come you are right? They are the principles. You sit them in a situation, check if they fit. If they do not fit, I tell you, forget it. And I'm talking about the principles of the word. The principles of God. Do they fit? When the Bible says that where your treasure is, there your heart will be. It can be in many dimensions. If you love money too much, it means that you will do anything for money. You can even kill for money because that is your treasure. Your heart will be there. You'll be devising. And also when you love someone and care for someone, you will know, people will even know, people around will even know So that is the principle I am talking about. Sit it. You are dating someone, the person is not even calling you. Recognize that the person, you should walk fast. You call them, they tell you they will call you back. They did not call you back. You call them, like they said, they didn't call you because they don't have anything to talk about and they are proposing. What have you recognized in that? So openness and communication. People do not want to communicate at all. They don't want to talk. They want to sweep things under the carpet. And I come across this a lot. I counsel people a lot, and it's so terrible that even while you are talking to them, you are going to the left, you are trying, no, they don't want to listen. They are so set in their ways. So how to recognize that man? You check that person. Is this person set in their ways? Are they, some people, they are so set that they don't want to hear any other thing. If that is the person you want, is good. Recognize that. But if you know that that's not the person you want, keep working. Strong work ethic, a go-getter, content in the moment, but thirst for more. And I've used these things to consider for my own marriage, for the things that I watched out for and that my husband did. Honestly, I just simply use my marriage. It's easier for me like that. Strong work, like I said, my husband was working. He dropped out from school because life was tough in Canada. He had to work. He had to pay his school fee. He said, but I want to go back. I know tomorrow will be good. So they are go-getter. They have contentment in every moment they have, this any situation they find themselves. But while they are content in that moment, the thirst, the hunger. Is that the person you want? If you can see that person, go for the person. Ability to disagree constructively. Some people, you cannot even have a conversation with them. You can't even disagree. We are not looking for a perfect person because nobody is perfect. See, me, I'm very passionate. I'm very passionate when I'm talking. When I'm so passionate, and my husband, he will just be saying it one by one. Sometimes I'll be looking at him, I'll be like, why can't I be like this? Yeah. And then sometimes we'll be talking, and me, I will be like, and he'll say, Feyikemi, I'm in front of you. I'm here. You don't have to shout. I'll say, sorry. But that was not what I was saying. But I disagree with you. You get what I mean? You talk about it constructively. You agree, you disagree. And I'll be like, okay, you know what? I agree with you, but I don't think you understand. You talk about it and you make sure you finish that conversation. If you can't do that when you are dating and seeing the person, you won't do it in marriage, oh. Forget it. It won't happen. And that was why the moment, and you will see some pointers, and that's why I'm talking about principles. The moment my husband said, there are 3 things we need to talk about. This, then I knew that this person is someone that will be able to sit down and have a conversation. This person is not somebody that we want to show something under the carpet, like, or maybe sweep it under the carpet, like, we don't have to talk about it, because he was even telling me, let's talk about this thing. And I was very happy. So I don't want to, you can fit in every other thing, yeah? We don't have to talk too much. So you can check me out. The website is theadequatepreparation.com. And this is the website for my new book that I wrote for singles who are looking to get married, how to be adequately prepared for the marital journey, in choosing what to watch out for and things like that. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful book. So try and look into it. And my Instagram handle is @Feyikemi Official. Thank you again for today. And I will take your questions. Thank you, Coach K.
Thank you so much, Feyikemi. Really appreciate it. Thank you for making it so practical. So please, are there any questions? Have I missed any questions in the chat? I don't think so. I've been following it. Awesome, powerful. God bless you so much. So those are nice things to say. I like the awesome, powerful, the clapping, but I need questions. I believe question time should be more longer than teaching time. I've learned to teach for just 20 minutes, max 50, max 20, 15 at the very least, because it's when people ask questions, you are really going into their hearts, their minds, what they think about what you have said. So Feyikemi has really downloaded quite a bit. Is there anything you agree with, anything you disagree with, any questions you have? Really enlightening, Vivian says. While I'm waiting for questions, I like what she said about where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Why didn't I hear this many, many years ago? Adiola, well, we didn't. So we didn't. There's nothing we can do. We are here now, so let's just give God thanks that we are hearing it. I learned a lot. Where your treasure is, there your heart. So we need to be honest with ourselves. Where are we? Where is my heart? What's my treasure? Honestly, the Bible says a wise woman builds her house, the house. It doesn't say a wise man. It says a wise woman. And it's a foolish woman as well that tears it down. So we need to know who we are. And who we are is a function of how we think. And your thoughts are in your control. Nobody can think for you. Nobody can inject you with a thought and say, oh, it's not my fault. They just said this and I just started thinking. You're not a dummy, a zombie. God didn't create you that way. He created you like himself. So whatever you are, whoever you are, that's what you will attract. Period. I will have to go deeper into that, but that's not what this session is about. To explain to you who you are is what you attract. What I have around my business today is a function of what I have attracted. This webinar is what I attracted. The people who are in it are the people I attracted, no matter who they are. The ones who have not come have decided they don't want to be here, even though they registered. They don't want to be here. That's fine. Surely it needs to be brutal. Yeah, it needs us to be brutally honest with ourselves and be ready to let go when we see the red flags. And until you can see your own red flags, you can't see anybody else's red flags. It's not possible. Until you see your own, you need to be, like Adela just said, brutally honest with yourself. You know what you like, what you don't like, what you do. You're the only one who knows between you and God, whatever you call God. So call a spade a spade. Don't play. Otherwise, this guy will come, and just as you are blind to you, you'll be blind to him. You cannot expect to have a husband who you are not. Because Feyikemi kept saying, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Kendisha is quite young. I had the habit of just accepting whatever I got, because that's what I kept hearing my dad say. Not too long ago, I came to the point that you're a big girl now. You need to evaluate that sentence. Be content with what you have. That's how I was brought up. Mom too, be content with what you have. No, don't start. Effectively, they were saying be humble. And they lived it. They lived that humility. They were not, we want this, want to buy this, want to grow this. Oh, we have to fly out. No. They brought us up well. We did fly out. We did all that. But it was all on the down low. But they helped many people. So you've got to know who you are, because that's who you will attract. I attracted somebody and he did sweeping under the carpet. I know it's the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time. I said, Then I brought it up because I don't like conflict. I won't say anything at the beginning. I can fight, but I just make peace quickly. So I said, no, we need to talk about this. We don't have to fight. So I asked 5 times, we need to talk about this matter. No, he's not. So I thought, okay, uncle, that's okay. Now I know who you are. So I kept quiet. And not too long after, he said, he used an expression, shame on you. Shame on you. And for him, it was a joke. Don't speak like that to me. I have no shame, none whatsoever. So I answered and I said, no, don't say that to me, please. I don't have shame. Take that back. You said it with your mouth, you take it back, or you apologize. He totally ignored me. He was going to tell me something. He said, okay, so what else about to say? Oh, what else about to tell you? I said, no, I'm not. I kept interrupting. I said, no, I'm not listening to what you're about to tell me. I want you to take back what you said and apologize. Don't say shame. Don't talk to me like that. I was very clear. And he refused 3 times. I asked. He refused. I said, all right, then I'm not speaking with you. And I put the phone down. I don't do that. That's not me. I put the phone down. Okay, what does that mean? No, no, no. You take care of you. But in the past, I would have just taken it. You don't need to take it once. You can deal with it immediately. And guess what? Men appreciate and respect a woman who knows what she wants. You might say, I don't want to chase him away. You are not. He has his legs. Did you chase him to you? He can use his legs to go away as well. So don't stand for any nonsense. Don't. So about attracting who you are. I was working when I was in the UK. I had a job. One of the jobs I had. And there was this Asian guy, fine, young man, younger than me. I had 2 children. He was a young man. But you should have seen me. I was so one day, I was walking past his small office. I was walking past him, and he smacked my bottom. If you saw, I went crazy. How dare you? Don't. How dare you? I'm born again. I am just all my noise. It's a lie. It was a lie. He came to me quietly later and he said, Kemi, I didn't just do that. It's because of the way you are around me, the way you are behaving. I went home to think. I evaluated myself. I checked it. I said, he's right. He's not wrong. That's who I attracted. But that's not who I wanted. That's who I attracted. Is not who I want. Because also, you know how women are around good, fine guys. I was all that. I was all that grown woman. And that's who came around me. So I had to conduct, until today, I still conduct. If I see a fine guy, all right, you're fine, you're over there. And I draw my lines very clearly. In my mind, I just draw it. Maintain my self-respect. Because I am the prize. And so I can't complain. If somebody came to the reception we did after Mom's burial, at Mom's burial, we did a little one in the house, outside the house. And I was sitting at a table talking with a friend, and I just noticed this guy staring. I didn't know him because my siblings have their own friends too. I don't know all my siblings' friends. So I was talking about, you notice when a guy is just staring at you. So we had danced a bit, and I came, sat down, and he said, I like how you dance. When a guy is saying that to you, you already know. I like how you dance. I was watching you. I said, oh God. So I just kept quiet. And then I was talking with this lady, we were all talking. Then all of a sudden, he pulled out his wallet, brand new 1,000 naira notes, and just slapped it on the table and gave it to me and said, I own this, I own that, I own this, I own this hospital, blah, blah, blah. Here, take. And he said something, an expression in Yoruba, take, just have it. Money was flying around. We spent millions for this burial. So, and we were putting all the money, anybody gave us any money, all 4 of us, put it all in one pot. So I said, oh, thank you. But there was something about the way he was saying it. And then he sent me all his what's the word? All his connections. This his address, this is office address, this is his phone number. Till today, I've not done anything with it. Because I knew what he was looking for. And it's not happening. And he's a married man, oh. It's not happening. So let's look at questions. Would the evaluating of ourselves affect the chemistry we would have with our prospective partner? Like, say, I started to work on the loyal part of myself. Would it affect the outcome of who? I don't know why this is here. Will it affect the outcome of who my partner could be if I worked more on the ambitious part? Because my thought process is with each improvement, I can become a different person. You're not becoming a better person for a particular man. You're becoming a better person for you. It is that you that man will find. It's not about, I started to work on the loyal part. Would it affect the outcome? It's up to him. That's what we women do. We kind of downplay ourselves so that he can know. The men have interviewed them over and over again. They like a woman that is strong. She knows where she's going. She knows what she wants. She's not overbearing. She's not disrespectful, but she's very clear about what she wants. I remember the same guy that said, shame. A week or two later, He said he had checked my son up. He wanted me to know he had checked my son up because he had a motor accident. And that finally he's been able to reach him. So I said, oh, thank you very much. He said, you don't have to say thank you. Everybody's brought up to say thank you, sorry, please. At least I think so. So it's normal for me. He said, oh, no, you don't have to say thank you. I just did it. I said, no, I need to. It's the correct thing to do to people. You say thank you. You say please. You apologize. Then he said something that threw me. People come from different ways. Upbringing. He said, oh, you like that sort of thing, don't you? I was like, what sort of thing? It's normal to say, oh, Rebecca, thank you very much for showing up at the webinar. It's normal. But he said, oh, you like that sort of thing. For him, it's not a big deal. If you come, you don't come, I say thank you, I do that. It's a big deal. Those are my values. So if you can't say thank you, no wonder you don't want us to talk about things. No wonder you don't apologize. No wonder, no one. So it's a red X like this. It's not a green one over him. So you are becoming who you are. Be as ambitious as you want to be. It's a lie that people say when they say, men will be afraid of you, especially in Nigeria. They will marry you if you have masters, if you have doctorate. I beg, get triple doctorate. Is it not your life? But guess what? It's because they have no understanding. You are his crown. Where do you put a crown on your head? What everybody sees it, you are not under his armpit. So you're the triple doctorate. He's walking around with it. Wow. That's for his own good. It's not for yours. It's for his alone. It's for his own good as well. So all that tradition, I beg. Do you want to say something? Feyikemi, oh yeah, you have. You're supposed to grow and be a better version, not a different person. Well, I don't understand about version because I believe God created one version. You can become better. You can find out about you and just grow. I'm careful of words, those kinds of words, especially when everybody uses it. So I understand what Feyikemi means by better version. Go ahead, ma'am.
Kendesha, I think what I would just say is that I try to take things very easy. Don't overthink anything, right? Try to take it easy because sometimes thinking everything so much, it's, it causes a lot of even sometimes you won't even know where you're going anymore. So take it easy, but just ensure that you have identified your fundamental values, right? And then things that are your non-negotiables, hold them there. And watch out for this person that you are looking to marry if you share the same mindsets on those fundamental values. Sometimes you will find out that you both share the same. And it's true that interest may begin to differ over time. And it's true, like I said, I'm an outdoor person and my husband is an indoor person. And it was not a problem. And it has never been a problem. But now that I'm growing older, I want to be out more. Especially now that my children are growing. And my husband does not see anything because he knows me. That is who I am. And the kind of person he is that he respects me as well. Right? But then the thing is, I will run it with him. I will check in with him. You know what? I want to go and see Lamide in the UK at so time. What do you think? I wouldn't just say, I'm traveling. No, right? Oh, like I remember last year, I started my midterm about a few years ago. And last year I went to New York. Normally I will have my midterm time once a year on a Friday and come back home on a Sunday, right? But last year I went to New York. And for the first time, I had it for a week, right? And they've missed me. Like everybody, mommy, I came back home, everybody was happy. But then when we first got married, I wasn't doing that, right? But now I'm exercising that part of me that wants to just explore, that wants to just see the world and everything like that. And my husband is not saying no. And if it's another country, we all go together. We travel once a year, we go together. But then it will be like, US, God will go with you and come back with you. Me, I'm not going. Bye-bye. You get what I mean? So, Kendesha, what I'm trying to say is that if that man if that man is a good person, innately, as you are growing, even they will be telling you that, wow, I can see some changes here. I can see you are like this, you are like this, you are like that. They'll be telling you. And I remember during COVID, my husband said something that nobody has ever said to me. People see me as someone who is outgoing, who likes playing, who is this, is that. My husband said one thing that only people that are very close to me and that knows me deep says. My husband said something. Now I'm getting to know your mother. I think she does not mind being alone, but we are not going to allow her. Then my husband sets a ground rule. Nobody is allowed to come into the bedroom from so time to so time. We all will be in the sitting room, in the room where we use for study, my son's room, or on the dining, working. Nobody is allowed to come into this living room, bedroom, into their bedrooms. We will all be together. Does that make sense? What did I do? I received it. I did not say, no, never. What do you mean? You cannot control me. It's marriage. So what I'm trying to say is that it's true. You begin to change. As you are growing up, you just want, I don't have time for you. You want to, but then the way you would do it, because you have so much love for each other, will not be in ways that would be, what's the word to use? It will not be in a way that will be damaging to each other, or a way that it will suppress the other, or a way that it will make one happy and not the other. And you will begin to see. And this is why it is important that you watch out for those fundamental values first. All other things, leave them. They don't, because marriage is hard work, but you will know. And I'm sure Dr. Julia can say that, right? So, but take it easy. Don't think out things too much. Don't bring things. Don't try to invent things that are not there. Just, tranquil, like the French would say, peace.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Feyikemi. Yeah. Don't make it difficult, like Feyikemi said, Kendisha. No, don't make it hard. Just chill, relax. It should be a beautiful, smooth journey. It should be like you're speaking with your brother, your mother, your father, your friends, your girlfriends. But when it becomes then you need to back off and say, nobody wants that. So it's not don't negotiate on anything. Don't negotiate. What are you negotiating? You're going to negotiate on beauty, on kindness, let us do that. I don't want to break our rooms before we go into. Well, oh, you want to say something, Dr. Julia? Your slide about those 27 things. I will explain what I'd like us to do, but please bring up the slide. Dr. Julia, go ahead, please.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time. I've learned a lot. This question came to mind, and it's been something that I've been working on concerning the role of discernment in knowing your husband. So after you've looked out for you worked on yourself, looked out for all of the qualities, and then you are checking all the boxes that, yeah, this is a good man. But sometimes there may be some traits that you may pick up, but if you are not so discerning, you may not be able to really read meaning into that and know the consequences that trait can have in the future. And I was wondering how discernment comes in here. What's the role after you've done all the due diligence, worked on the fundamental principles? How do you put in your discernment? Let the Holy Spirit guide you, that he may be checking all the boxes, but I don't have some peace within about maybe this trait, but I cannot really figure out what it would cause in the future.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
yes.
Feyikemi.
And then this verse from the Bible, when Samuel had to anoint David, and when he got there, he saw Eliab, and looking at how Eliab looked, the figure and all that. He said, surely this is the Lord's anointed. But God said, you are looking at the outward appearance. I look at the heart. So we may, yes, work on getting to know the internal qualities, but there may be some fine details that when we miss it could cause us later in life. So how do we bring in discernment here in getting to know your husband? Yeah.
Very, very good question. And discernment, I was looking at it in the dictionary. In fact, one of them even said recognize, right? Recognize, yeah. Another one said that is the ability to obtain sharp perceptions or to judge well. Sharp perceptions. And that's a principle, right? And when you go back to all the stories that I shared, the practical stories that I shared about people, imagine that is great discernment. You know, being in a family whereby they are being nice to me because of how they perceive me. And I was able to see how they are treating other people. And I'm able to project that into the future. You say, no, that's discernment. Right? And that is one of the reasons why I said that, you know, even in this journey, in choosing in everything, peace in terms of the Bible says, right, that the entrance of the word of God brings light and understanding to the simple, right? And when we're talking about the simple, it's not about consuming also everything that we hear. We hear this, we want to apply that, we hear it. They are the simple things, like very simple, very, you know, and like you said, these things are very little, you know, you may not be able to like say, but like I said, you must not deceive yourself. And sometimes we are able to recognize, right? Like that definition, sharp perception, we are able to see them, but sometimes we are too weak to act on them. By the virtue of our environment, what people will say, I don't want to, because I may have said I don't want to leave that family. People will say, if you're going out, what will people say? But for me, I don't even care. I care about myself and I care about my future. And I'll quickly tell you about this discernment. Maybe this one will be a perfect example. So I was dating someone before I eventually married my husband while I was in the UK doing my master's. And this person comes from another tribe, you know, and we started dating, and this guy wanted to really, really marry me. I was not really into him, right? But I knew that he was a good guy. But then it happened that anything the family says is what goes. And then when I asked him, but why are they saying this? You can't do that. Do it this way. Then he would be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm the last born of the family. And, you know, I have to do what they say. And you know what I like about him? He was honest. So where does my own discernment, what will I play in receiving that? What do I see in the future with that one sentence that says that I am the last born, I have to do what they say? That means that our life is up for grabs. Our life is up for total control. Then, and this is the example that I think I like, that I want to use. And something happened. I saw some email about the brother saying today, and you see, when some people were saying that they want me by all means because they perceive me somehow, the brother of this guy wrote to him and asked him, what does she have to offer you? Can you see? And I saw that email. So the moment I saw that email, and I said, you know what, that's it. I'm no more, I cannot be with you again. And then he invited me to a restaurant to talk about it, you know, he was begging, he was doing that. But I was filming, I was saying, who does he think he is? Your brother was saying that, me, what do I have to offer? What do you have to offer me? And I saw him, his legs under, and I think Olami didn't know about this, and I think it's in one of my books. I think I wrote it in one of my books, one of the Am I Ready? His legs was under the table, his fist together, and you could see he was shaking. I tell you, that one will beat me if I marry him. I wrote it in my book. You can read it there. That was what I was able to see. I was able to discern. It was sharp. It was clear. You could see his legs shaking, his hands under the table. And this is person that will shower me with so much love, sweet words, affection. I was able to see that. And I was able to tell myself that behind all this, I love you, following me, not about like an ant, behind all this thing, there's this person on the inside that is brutal, that will beat me if I try I try to prove any nonsense. Do you get what I mean? So it's not difficult to see, and this is the truth, but many people will not agree. But sometimes we are too weak to see, and that is why we need to work on ourselves. We really need to work on ourselves. We really need to love ourselves so much to say, this is who I am, and I'm not going to negotiate this, and I'm going to stand by this. And I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so discernment is critical. Yeah, you've got to know, you've got to recognize, you've got to pinpoint and not let your emotions get in the way. Oh, but I like him, but he does this. Oh. And the other thing you need to be, especially if you're younger and even older, be accountable to somebody wiser and older. Because when Feyikemi was saying sometimes we are weak, you need somebody who is strong to say, no, you can't go there. No, don't talk to him. No, don't call him. No, don't answer the call. No, we all need somebody like that. I have people like that. There are people I call that I'm being stupid, speak sense to me. That's exactly what I say. I don't go about, I teach you. I know my weaknesses, or I know when I choose to be weak, or it's I've made it difficult for me to switch. So I call people to help me. I don't hide it. So don't think that you can do this yourself, especially if you like the guy. You recognize but take no action and end up frustrated. Very true. It is a dangerous place to be taking no action. So let's look at this slide. What I'd like you to do is in the next 2 minutes, and I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock, on the timer. I would like you to, she said you should rate yourself. I don't want you to write anything about the things you're already strong in. Just list the things you are not strong in. That's all. So you might write it on your notes. It's important. Write the exact word, not the number. You're not going to remember. So write what you are weak at, what you're not good at. Whatever you believe you're good at, you are good at. So I've written mine. So I have 6 things I'm not the best at. So because I was just thinking that these words are so powerful that we can actually add it to the workshop that I will share with you, the 6-week workshop. So I'm going to put 2 minutes. Once the alarm goes, we stop. So just read through 1 to 27 one by one. Once you think on it, nah, I'm not very good at this, write it down. So we can help each other. That's 2 minutes starts now. Forty-nine seconds. 28 seconds. Fifteen seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. All right. Can you take off the share, please, Feyikemi? And then, yeah. So, oh, okay. No, you read it to us. Don't share it. I want us to show our hands electronically. If you know where to go, I think you go to reactions. Is it where you have more? It's not in reactions anymore. Where do you raise your hand? Oh, you raise your hand next to your name. Is that where you do it? Nope. Where do you... Okay, Zainab has written hers. Okay, some of you are raising your... Vivian has raised her hand. Ayofe Oluwa. Okay, so are you raising your hand to talk? Go ahead, unmute and talk. Tell us what you are weak at. Ayofe Oluwa, go ahead. Ayofe Oluwa, go ahead. Oh yeah, in reactions.
Okay, self-awareness. I'm not good at self-awareness. I'm not good at good listening.
You're
I'm
not good at what?
ambitious. I'm always like, let's just do what we... I'm not ambitious. I
Okay.
just like, let's just go with whatever. I don't have a big dream like that. I'm not
Okay.
good at consistency. Count a
Okay.
thing and before I say it, I have stopped doing it. I'm not good at maturity, self-control, courage. So that's it. Man.
Anyone else? Thank you, Ayofe Oluwa.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's helpful. So we know we'll probably talk about some of these things in the workshop. Anybody else want to share what you're not great at? Rebecca, let me tell you mine before. Why are you doing that? Patience. I want it now. Immediately. Self-control in some things, not all things. Empathy. I'm just learning empathy. I just look at you and say, is that what happened? Okay, sorry. Can we move on? But I think I need to wait a bit more and then say, let's move on. Gratitude. I'm so used to... Maybe I am okay with gratitude, but I do say thank you, not just to people, to God, because I'm always in awe. So because I hear about gratitude so much, I think I don't have gratitude, but now I think about it, I think I do. Consistency, yeah. If I can't, I don't like sticking with doing the same thing over, and even praying. Stay here, pray, read the Bible this way, and I have to change things around. I can't just be doing it the same. I've never liked doing anything the same way. Yeah, routine. I hate that thing. I want to switch it up somehow. I'll get it done, but I'll switch it up. And being self-aware, I've just realized I'm not that self-aware. So I'm just finding things out about myself today. Rebecca, go ahead.
Self-control, but that's in the context of like conflict in a relationship, not just
Wow.
not it, yeah, like in the sense of I could handle... Basically, when it comes to like a misunderstanding, I'm a bit loose with my words, but that's something that I need to work on,
Okay.
and which obviously leads to challenges when it comes to like forgiveness. I forgive, but in a sense that I can really like hold something.
Hold
I
on.
think I could hold them like... I think I'm emotional. I think I'm very sensitive in that way. So it can lead to like prolonging forgiveness. But in my mind, I'll be telling myself that, yeah, I've moved on. But in my mind, deep down, it's like, no, I still remember what you have done. And I think the last one for me will probably be maturity in better, like handling like conflict better than what I presently do.
Only 3. Wow.
Oh, those are the 3 main ones. I think everything else is
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
3 main ones. We are happy with 3 main ones. So it's all good. It's okay. So thank you, Rebecca. So Feyikemi wanted to add something for Adeola.
Add something, although that's with yourself, there was I was going in a different direction, but I will leave it for today because it's very late. And I think what I wanted to do with it have been very profound, because it's not about being, it's not about, for everything, it's not about being 10-10. You don't have to be 10-10 at all. Trust me. And that's where I'm going. You don't have to be 10-10, but I tell you that the person you're going to marry will complement you. I am not very patient as well. I'm learning it. No, it's like this. Yes, I'm not very patient. I'm learning. I want things now too. And maybe I'll give myself like 7 to 10 in that. But I think I can give my husband 9.5.
Wow.
To 10 in that. But the way you are talking about kindness, yeah, when you are talking about kindness, I am kind. And I know that. And my husband, I will give him that 7 to 10. I will tell him, I say, you are ash. And he will laugh, you are too ash. So we mind each other. I'll be like, tone it down. You get what I mean? He may not even be with me. He may not be with me. Maybe his brother or younger brother, his younger sister, or somebody, right? Or maybe our son. You get what I mean? So it's not about you being perfect. Do you understand? We work to be perfect, but you will never find that perfect person. But try. But then you will see that in this person that we are talking about, T.D. Jakes talked about the 80%, 20%, and you will read it in my book if you read that book. And what he was trying to say is that sometimes we find the 80% of what we want in somebody. And that's good. But then sometimes we start looking for the remaining 20%. Rather than doing the works of that 20%, because that is where God has called us to do the works. That 20%, that is not good. That is why God is calling you into kindness. That is where God is calling you into love. That is where God is calling you into patience, into understanding, into self-control, into forgiveness, into gratitude. That is where God is calling you. But then you leave that 80%, you now go away and look for the 20% that you do not have in that relationship. And then you lose that 80% because what you have in the person that you are running to is 20%. Can you see? So it's not about being perfect. It's not about you eating that 10-10, but it's about you knowing where you stand and then growing. And you'll find out that the person that you marry, you will see that the person will complement you in those areas. You'll be surprised. And then lastly, I'll go back to Adeola because you talked about, no matter the people, the notion of perfection, that not all men are perfect. And as a result, we just tend to like say, okay, let me accept because, there's so much saying going around that not men are not perfect, that they are like that. They are born this, they are born that. People will say all sorts. But what do you believe? What is your report? What have you written down? That this one, it is mine. And I don't care what anybody says. And I shared something during my launching of the book that there's something fundamental to me. When I was, that's the number one thing I would look for. I cannot marry someone with a pet. It's not possible. I cannot marry someone with a dog, with a cat. I don't care the kind of pets that you have. I cannot. And when I want to come to your house, I will ask you, do you have a dog or cat? If you have it, I'm sitting in my house. I'm not coming. It's because I will embarrass you. I will embarrass myself. I went to somebody's house, the cat ran, I screamed, hey! I said, oh yeah, I'm going to my house.
Oh my God.
So that is fundamental. Can you see the principle there? It was fundamental to me and I was not ready. I don't care how handsome you are. You can be Brad Pitt, I don't care. I'm not marrying you. So are you disciplined to know who you are It's all about discipline. Are you making yourself strong? The Bible says those who please borrow me, those who know their God, they shall be strong and they shall do great exploits. Are you strong enough to stand on that decision and not be, I'm seeing the chest, look at abs, six packs, but that dog, I will manage it. No. If it is fun, because it will come back to bite you.
Yeah.
It will come back to bite you. Because we tell you at first, don't worry, the dog will be outside. He's lying. 1 year after, 2 years after, you just see the dog sleeping with you on the same bed. Adiola, I hope that helps.
Oh my gosh. So
yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Let me just share the workshop, everybody. I'll put the link in the WhatsApp group. So let's start with the reality. Some of this we've talked about already. At least we've mentioned them. You want to be married to the man of your dreams, but you do not believe that it is possible. You actually think it can never happen. You think you are to be guided by what mom and dad say or by your culture or your tradition. And when you marry this man, you begin to regret it not too long after. You think you know what to do to get married to the man that you desire, but you don't. Even then, you go ahead anyway. When you meet him, you are disappointed, but live with it, believing you are stuck. Or you believe you must have a sexual relationship with the man you meet because that is one way of keeping him. When you do, you are disappointed at the way he treats you and afraid to leave him. And there is more and more and more and more. And some people, I found out some people believe the girls believe he must give them money. If they don't give them, no, you can't marry him. And the men, I asked in my men's group, is that normal in Nigeria? Because these are only Nigerian men I'm working with. They say, oh yeah, it's normal. And one guy said, the reason I don't have a girl in my life is because all my money is going into my savings. I don't have any extra money to give anybody. So he actually believes it. I thought, And when I asked about sex, nobody answered because, of course, they were all guilty. They sleep with their girlfriends. But it does not have to be that way. Finally, there is a coaching workshop that will set things right for you. So we're going to have step-by-step life coaching. Feyikemi and I will be on this once a week, recordings of each session. And I'm going to put you in a current Facebook group that I have where we'll do weekly Q&A so we don't have to get online and all that. And I'm going to add an extra class outside of the 6 weeks, how to think coaching with me. So week 1, we're going to introduce the program. Week 2, we're going to look at self-esteem and self-worth. That is critical, who you are. Then we're going to look at you quality. And so we're going to spend time on this. Between 30, did we say between 30 and 45 minutes? Is that what we said, Feyikemi? Approximately. Because to be nighttime for Feyikemi.
30 minutes will be my prefab because like I said, I'm very busy during the week.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Week 4, how to attract men like you or men you want, and then how to recognize your husband, and then we'll recap. We have 2 bonuses. I have a book on Amazon, but I'm going to give you the digital copy. We'll sort out the digital copy for the adequate preparation by Feyikemi. You'll get that as well. And like I said, the special how to think class. The investment is $197 or 300,000 naira if you're in Nigeria. If you are somewhere else, just change it over. And over, I said 3 months. I'm so sorry. It's not over 3 months. So it's a 6-week program. It's over 2 months. So we are dividing that into 150. That's wrong. So approximately 150,000 naira. You pay twice, or you pay in full. 197 dollars or 300,000 naira. If you want to talk more about it, please, you have Feyikemi's number if you're in the group, and you have my number. And we're going to start in September. We haven't put a date to it, but most likely the first week in September. It's not going to be open for very long. Even if we have one person sign up, we are going to teach it. So we don't need a whole crowd. We just need somebody who's interested in learning more about how to recognize their husband. And thank you, Kendisha. I'm too busy judging you. It is not your... Oh my gosh, what did Kendisha write? Empathy, I believe that you're in control of your life. Anything you enter inside is first of all your fault until proven otherwise. It makes it very hard for me to put myself in your shoes. I'm too busy judging you. Teachability. Wow. Okay. Empathy, teachability, trust, consistency, being responsible. Would I be crazy if I told you that responsibility just sounds like a routine I have to do forever? Sometimes I'm responsible, other times I'm like, yeah, we know that you are young with these things that you are writing. You grow, but just don't make it difficult for yourself. Take it a day at a time. It's all right to miss it. It's all right to be wrong. It's just not all right not to grow out of it or be a better person as a result of that one. Is not all right. Oh, I've always been like this. That's not all right. Grow, grow, grow. I hope this has been useful for everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Feyikemi. It's late at her in her neck of the woods. Thank you, everyone. I will put the link here now. I think. Did I? Yes. I'll put the link here now, and also I'll put it in the group. You can't, but I'm going to delete that group because everybody's in all kinds of groups. So I'm going to delete that group once we shut down and people signing in. I think within a week, because right now I can't start anything right now. But within a week, we'll shut it down 7 days. So if you want to leave already, feel free to leave. You don't have to stay there. But we'll keep on talking. Once we shut it down, that's it. Whoever has joined the program joins the program. Everybody, thank you so much. I'm so glad I've done this. You're most welcome, Kendisha. Feyikemi, everybody saying thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.
Thank you all so much.
I'll put the
Bye.
recording in the group. I'll put the recording, link to the recording in the group.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.